Chapter 10. Lucy. Jack cornered her the next morning when she walked past the groundsman's shed. Maybe she should take a different path in future, even if it would take her longer to get to her first class. "I'm glad to see you survived the date." It hadn't really been a date. They'd only grabbed a couple of burgers. "You were worried for no reason. Tanner's nice." "You don't really know that." "Yeah, I do. There's nothing wrong with him. He's nice. I don't need your help. I guess angels get things wrong sometimes. Unless you want to figure out who's leaving me rosebuds, there's nothing you can help me with." If only she could figure out how to get him to accept that. Jack shook his head. "There's got to be something." "Why does there have to be something?" Jack stared at her for a moment. "Because I'm meant to help you." "Why? Are you some kind of guardian angel or something?" She had a feeling he was trying to avoid answering her. Jack laughed, a humorless mocking one. "I'm as far from that as it's possible to get." "Then why are you meant to help me?" "Because I have to atone for every single sin I've ever committed. Even the little ones. It was that or hell. I've been assured I probably wouldn't like it." Hell. She'd always thought it was about as real as angels. She struggled to recall everything she'd ever heard about it. "I guess you must have done something pretty bad to be headed there." Once again he remained silent for a moment before he spoke. "Yeah. I killed my girlfriend and her new boyfriend." She took a step back from him. You did what?" His lips twisted into a wry smile. "I had a gun." He paused, his eyes losing focus. "You know I can still hear the sound of it. I haven't forgotten 1 second of that day. It plays over and over in my mind like a broken record." He looked so harmless. Surely he hadn't really killed 2 people. And one of them his girlfriend. "You're saying that so I won't have anything more to do with Tanner, aren't you?" "No." He glanced past her. "Come on before your blasted friend finds us." He grabbed her by the arm and tugged her inside the shed. "What does she think she is? Your shadow?" She pulled away from him, remaining just inside the shed. "You tell me you've killed people and then you expect me to go into a dimly lit building with you. Are you crazy?" "Anything is possible. I've spent decades with only myself to talk to, so I wouldn't be surprised if I was." She momentarily closed her eyes. The conversation was a long way from where it had started. "I don't need your help, so please leave me alone." Jack stared at her silently for nearly a minute. "I can't. I'm sorry, but I can't. I have to help you. I'm sick of being stuck here, and helping you is the only way I can work towards getting out of this place." She felt like growling in frustration. "Help someone else instead. I don't need any help. I'm fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with me or my life." "I can't." He was very specific. "You're the one I need to help." She opened her mouth to speak, but the school bell rang. "I have to go." She took a step away from him, holding up a hand to halt him when he started to follow. "If I think of anything, I'll let you know. You know where to find me." She nodded before turning and hurrying out of the shed, seeing Jasmine headed back towards the classrooms. Checking over her shoulder, she saw Jack stood in the doorway. She couldn't help him. There wasn't a single problem in her life that needed dealing with. She ran after her friend. "Hey Jasmine. Wait up." Jasmine stopped, turning to face her. "Where were you?" Reaching her friend's side, she linked arms with her. She ignored the question she couldn't answer without causing even more unanswerable questions. "You'll never guess what happened yesterday afternoon." "Well, I guess from your expression it must have been good. So why didn't you ring or text me last night and tell me?" "Because I wanted to tell you in person." That sounded much better than she hadn't wanted to share it with anyone. Not after all of Dylan's questions. "Then hurry up or we'll be at our classroom and I won't get a chance to find out." She briefly told Jasmine about going out for something to eat with Tanner yesterday afternoon, followed by the kiss. She winced at her friend's ear-splitting squeal. When Jasmine started to ask a question, she shushed her. "He's behind you, headed this way." Luckily, he wasn't close enough that he would have heard anything she'd said to Jasmine. After a glance over her shoulder, Jasmine giggled. "Tell me later." With another giggle and a glance towards Tanner, she hurried off. Tanner reached her side. "Meet me at lunch?" "Yes." He grinned, reaching for her hand and linking his fingers through hers. "I'll see you then." His fingers momentarily tightened on hers before he let go and hurried off. She watched him walk away, grinning back at him when he glanced over his shoulder before disappearing round a corner. She headed into her own class, trying not to smile as she apologized for being late. Her teacher probably would have taken it the wrong way. When lunch finally arrived, Lucy hurried towards where she usually met Tanner. She turned a corner and came face to face with Cole. It was too late to go in a different direction. His gaze cut through her as they walked past each other and she wondered what his problem was. He'd gone from staring to glaring at her in the space of a few days. Maybe he hadn't liked Jasmine asking about him. Other than that, she had no idea what she could have done wrong. She checked over her shoulder to make sure he wasn't looking in her direction. He wasn't. Relieved, she continued towards where she was to meet Tanner. She really hoped Cole wasn't the one sending her flowers. Seeing Tanner, she grinned, picking up her pace.